When I was a bit younger, I never truly understood why people love the Honda CR-V. But now that I'm getting a little bit more sense and a little bit of age in me, I finally understand why. This one right here is the Honda CR-V all-wheel drive SX diesel 7-seater, the top-of-the-line variant of this car right here. Today I'm going to show you around this car and I'm also going to give it a test drive, so stay tuned. This body of the Honda CR-V has been here for quite some time now, but even in 2022, it still looks proper modern. With the styling up front, giving you some black pieces and chrome pieces over there, it is a very reserved design. Not much lines on it, but you do get LED headlights and also LED DRLs. Move on over towards the side of the car, and again, not much lines over here, but I really love this very chunky looking belt line just above your door handles. You also get repeaters on your side mirrors, 18-inch rims wrapped in Michelin Primacy 3 tires, and also a panoramic sunroof up top. Then you know how CR-Vs have gotten bigger and bigger, and I really do love how they extended the rear part of the car, giving the people in the third row a little bit more light with this huge quarter window. Towards the back of the CR-V, and I really enjoy these lights right here. It's like an L-shaped design, and this spoiler right here really balances out the look at the back, giving it just a little bit of a sporty touch. There is an all-wheel drive badge over there because this is an all-wheel drive car, and you also get a power tailgate, which could be a little bit on the slow side. Over here, if you do have the rear seats, the third row seats folded down, you have ample space, but if you do fold them up, you have very limited space. There is this false floor that you can move though that will give you a rather flat loading area if you do have the seats down, but overall the space at the back isn't exactly the best. Under this false floor though is a spare tire. Powering the Honda CR-V is a 1.6-liter turbo diesel engine making 120 horsepower and 300 Nm of torque, made it to a 9-speed automatic transmission. Yes, power figures don't really sound like much, but the fuel economy in this car is amazing. You can do 7.8 kilometers to the liter in the city and over 21 kilometers per liter in the highway. Here inside the Honda CR-V, you check the door thud. Sounds about all right. And once you are inside the Honda CR-V, you kind of get why a lot of Filipinos have been loving this car for a very long time. Everything is just so sensible and so comfortable feeling. Your steering wheel is leather wrapped, easy to use. You also have your paddle shifters there and multifunction for your adaptive cruise control. Your instrument cluster is also incredibly easy to read. It is also digital, and towards the middle is an also very responsive 7-inch touchscreen with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. What else is more right here? You do even get a lane watch camera. You just press a button, or you can also just turn on your right turn signal and you have a camera to see your blind spot. Down below, a no-nonsense button as your shifter, so you get your P, R, and DS, everything over here, an economy button, and an electronic parking brake with auto hold. Everything else is just so incredibly simple. Wireless charging pad, 2 cup holders, big area to put a lot more items, a sliding center armrest, and then the seats themselves, they're also incredibly comfortable. It's not trying to be sporty in any way. It's just really wide. It's 8-way power adjustable for the driver's side with 4-way lumbar adjustment and 4-way power for the passenger side. Also, my favorite thing about this cabin, the wood trim around it. Call me old-fashioned, but it still looks downright beautiful. You even get a big sunroof up top, 6 airbags, and the entire Honda Sensing package. Kids, the elderly, and even your pets will love the rear seats of the Honda CR-V because first off, the door opens 90 degrees, so it's so easy to enter the car. The ride height is also just enough, that way you don't really have to step or go down, so those with joint issues will not have a problem here. Even putting a child seat with this ISOFIX is so incredibly easy with this wide opening door. And once you are inside, you check the door thud first. It sounds pretty good. And then back here, space is amazing. Legroom and even headroom is pretty good. And the car is also sufficiently wide, so you can easily seat 3 people back here. Despite this car being all-wheel drive, the floor is almost completely flat. You get your own air vents back here, 2 USB charging ports, and even a center armrest with 2 more cup holders. You can even recline your seats and slide them forward by a lot actually, giving space to the people at the third row. And you even get 4 of these air vents up top. Yes, the Honda CR-V is a 7-seater car. Fortunately, the third row seats is only reserved for children, because if I do slide these second row seats forward, I mean all the way forward, I still have very limited leg room. So if I do slide this all the way back, I do have to get rid of my legs to be able to comfortably sit back here. As for children though, they do get their own cup holder back here and also their own air vents, plus they won't really feel claustrophobic because of these two giant quarter windows. Now we drive the Honda CR-V SX Diesel 9AT all-wheel drive with Honda Sensing. The thing about the Honda CR-V, which I definitely did not see growing up and as a kid, is just how incredibly sensible this car is. I mean, when you do drive this car, it's just so comfortable. And I'm pretty sure by this time, if you've seen a couple of videos on CR-Vs, you know exactly what CR-V means, which is a comfortable runabout vehicle. And that's exactly what this CR-V is trying to be. It's trying to be a comfortable vehicle that you can use to just run about the place. It's not in any way trying to be sporty. It's not trying to be flashy. It simply is just so damn comfortable. I mean, the driving dynamics of this car, there is a lot of body roll. It's not exactly the most quiet out there, but the way it deals with road undulations is just amazing. But since it's not really trying to go for a very dynamic kind of drive, power, while is adequate, it's not exactly more than enough. You wouldn't call this car fast in any way. After all, you only have like 120 horsepower, which in 2022 doesn't sound like much, and it isn't. 300 newton meters of torque though, there is a little bit of a kick, especially if you do put this car into its S mode, its sport mode, but it's not gonna blow your mind at all. Since this car is really not trying to be sporty in any way, steering feel is pretty much non-existent. Nonetheless, it is incredibly light. It's so easy to maneuver, even in the city and even in tight streets. And if you do want to park this car, it's so damn easy. You have 3 modes for your reverse camera, and it is so incredibly easy to use. In the city, it's rather refined to get up over to the highway, and even if you're running on those Michelin Primacy 3s, yes, there's a little bit more tire noise that enters the cabin. Wind noise isn't too apparent though. Vibrations, despite this being a diesel, not much there either, so very comfortable. Then yeah, mentioned earlier, ride is just superb. Overall, I think that the Honda CR-V is a very grown-up car. It's a very sensible car. And while the younger crowd may not exactly appreciate this car, it'll only take them a couple of days with this car, especially with rising gas prices, to understand why this car has been the car of choice for a lot of Filipino families for generations. It simply is a no-nonsense, incredibly sensible, comfortable, efficient, and practical compact SUV. It really ticks all the boxes that anyone would ever need. It may not be everything that anyone would ever want, but it surely is what you need. And at 2.158 million pesos, it is so much cheaper than your typical PPVs while offering the same amount of tech, better space, and all that. This car right here may be a couple of years old and may be due for replacement, but even for 2022, it makes for an amazing, amazing deal and an amazing, amazing family car.